Well, greetings out there in video land. Today is the proud day that I get to unveil the completed 1966 Fender Princeton Reverb Amp. I hope you've watched the part 1 video of this showing when I first got it and disassembled it, and we saw all the shortcomings and issues that it had. And now I've got it back together, and I'd like to think that those issues are gone. Okay, so let's take a close look and see what you think. Okay, the tubes are tested. The 6v6s came out fine. They're not real strong, but they're fine. 12AX7 tested okay. The second 12AX7 was actually pretty strong. 12AT7, as expected. You know, this is a duo triode. One half of it tested fine, the other half seemed weak. Remember, this is what drives the reverb tank, and I thought the reverb was not as strong as it should be. I think that was the culprit. This is a replacement. It's strong in both of the triode sections. And then this original RCA 7025 tested out just fine. So the one tube that was expected to be weak was, and it has been replaced. Okay, here's the dash all polished up. I removed all the knobs and cleaned each knob and polished the set screw heads so that it would look as close as possible to new. The dash really waxed up real nice. I think the knobs look great. A whole lot better than it was. And here's the new 3-wire power cord. Because I couldn't change this hideous plug at the end of the original cord, I went the 3-wire route. We got the hot and neutral wires going over here like the originals did to the auxiliary socket, and then the green ground wire comes over here to a lug under one of the nuts that holds the power transformer. So now we've got a nice 3-wire plug. Okay, here's the inside of the 1966 Princeton Reverb chassis. One change I made is the same that I did on the 67 Princeton Reverb, is I've added a couple more 1 meg resistors in parallel with this one here that controls the intensity of the tremolo. When you reduce the resistance from this point to this, you greatly increase the intensity of the tremolo. I've got it at about 350K right now, and it's wonderful. So for all you tremolo hogs, this is a great modification to make. A major issue arose when I tried to bias the 6v6s. I had the same issue with the 1967 Princeton Reverb. I put in a set of black plate RCA vintage tubes and fortunately checked the plate current very quickly. This one was flowing 36 milliamps and this one was about 32, which meant they had about a 5-minute life expectancy and probably then go up in flames. Now, there's nothing wrong with the tubes, it's just that they tend to flow a lot of current when you ground the cathode. So that's just not tolerable, and so I chose to add resistance to each cathode to cathode bias these tubes. This one ended up with about 420 ohms and this one at about 250 ohms, and now the plate current is exactly matched in both of them, plate voltage is exactly matched, and the plate dissipation is exactly matched. Now this is for the outside tube, the one toward the transformer, and this would be the one toward the center of the amp. With the differing resistances, and it took 420 ohms on the cathode of this one and 250 on the cathode of this one to bring them down to both exactly the same, 19 milliamps of current. Plate voltage dropped from 445 to 433, which gives you 8.23 watts of plate dissipation for each, with 8.4 being, in my book, ideal. So it's right on the money. They have different cathode resistances, but they have exactly the same plate current, and I think it's a good idea. These tubes should last for a long time and still give really excellent tone. Okay, here's the top of the chassis all finished. The brand new GZ34 is in place. I've got the now perfectly matched pair of RCA black plate 6v6s. in position. I've got a non-humming 12AX7. You need to see my previous video. And a much stronger 12AT7 here to drive the reverb tank. Okay, I think it's ready to go back in the cabinet. Well, it's all going together very nicely. We have our new 3-wire power cord routed through the original clip and through the original chassis grommet. We have the brand new GZ34, the 2 vintage black plate RCA 6V6s that are biased to perfection, the original style Fender speaker plug with the black and white wire rather than black and red. We've got some really nice new shielded cables for the reverb tank with no extra length anywhere coiled up. They're just exactly the right length. I cut them and shaped them to be just right, with the black clips routing them down to the reverb tank in its nice cleaned bag, and the bag is folded under like it should be instead of sticking up in the air over here. Speakers all cleaned up and looks real nice. So about all that's needed here, I guess, are the back doors, and then we'll turn it around and see if it works. Well, here it is with the back doors in place, and the new speaker plug and a little red paint dabbed on that input plug and jack. Okay, we've got a unburned handle with original hardware. So let's turn it around and take a look at the front. Well, here's the front view. Control panel detailed up really nice, and the knobs cleaned up and polished very well. The Fender logo cleaned up, and I touched it up a little, make it look a little better. Grill cloth, there's not much you can do. It's still got kind of dark areas at the bottom, but that's just part of being old. Believe me, I speak from experience. Okay, let's plug it in and see how it sounds. Well, okay, we're plugged in here. The volume is set quite low, at about 2.5. Treble and bass are at 5. Okay, now I'll try a little reverb. It's set at 5. If you saw the first video, you know that I commented that the reverb seemed a little weak when I first got the amp. And let's see what you think now with the reverb set at 9. Doesn't sound weak anymore. I guess that fresh 12AT7 pepped it up a little. Now let's try the tremolo. Now remember, I made that modification where I reduced the 1 million ohm resistor down to 350K, which really does pep up the tremolo. Okay, now let's try it at 9. And now for the double header, we'll have both the reverb and the tremolo on, both set at 7. Well, that about does it for today's part 2 video of the two-part saga chronicling the restoration of the 1966 Princeton Reverb amp. I hope you enjoyed what you saw and that you will subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and will join me in the future for more videos because there's more coming. Okay, so stay tuned. I hope to see you in the near future. Bye for now.